Me in this time.
Let me get you off the phone there.
Okay. Hello.
Hi there.
Hello. I'm grateful to have you here. We are definitely meant to be here because all those little quirks and stuff let you know that you're supposed to be here. Anything that keeps the transmission off, anything that wants to jump into the transmission to try to have of an effect, but it will not ever have an effect that is low vibrational here. hmm So very grateful to have you here. We're gonna pretty much start off this ongoing uh, process of just sharing love and respect because you brought some very strong healing power to me in terms of the identifying, confirming some things for me, and of course I wanted to bring you to the table to actually confirm things for others as well because I just feel like the elders have to be heard, and you are definitely one that is connected to even the higher dimension of that for me because it's like I said, it's been confirmed from the perspective of just what you and I have co-created, as well as who you brought to the table in terms of the family, in terms of the tribe, letting kind of clear in a sense of we're obviously here to do something and we have to go ahead and do it now. However it looks, it's not by popular demand. It is by the present now demand. So
Yeah.
I'm all the way live for it, and I have a few questions, but I want to first start off with so much respect and appreciation for you holding space with me and you taking time with the ancients, you using your power to channel to even respectfully come to this platform and be like an ally of mine so that we could really share what it is with unapologetic love, respect, unapologetic unlimited, unconditional, straight from there. So I have a few questions, but this is a freestyle type thing, and this is the first time, so we just have to feel our way. But I think just being the most organic is the way that is going to be most effective for the people who actually summon this process. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? So I want to leave it at that. But I want to say, in the terms of you getting the opportunities for, if no one knew who you were or how what your connection is to source, who is Barbara Grace?
Okay. I always love it when people ask me questions like that.
That's good. That's great. That's great women.
Well, I am a creation of God or the universe or whatever name works for you. I'm not stuck in any particular mindset or belief system. I I like to say that I go with the flow, and I mean the flow of the divine energy that is always around each and every one of us. When you live in that flow, you do what needs to be done basically without thinking. It's not like you have to go into your mind and decide, well, this is okay or that's okay. When you are in that flow, you are just flowing. And it's a beautiful way of living. A lot of people have a lot of difficulty with it because, we're raised to believe it's our thoughts that determine everything, and that we need to think and we need to think and we need to rethink it and we need to analyze it and we need to figure it out. And I've learned to let that go and to actually allow myself to simply be who I truly am. And so I don't participate in a lot of social media. I'm not at all into anything like gossip and complaining. I see complaining as a complete and utter waste of time because it's just giving your energy to what you're complaining about. And if you're complaining about it, you don't want it, so why would you give it more energy? So I'm learning how to be my true self instead of the self that I was told I was supposed to be. And that's all a part of being a channel and actually hearing messages from God and the angels and whomever it is that's bringing me messages. And I only accept messages from the highest possible source. So I don't even worry about who the message is from because I know that it's going to be for the highest good because that's a condition that I've put into my life and into the work that I do. So I'm learning how to just be in the flow and have fun.
Indeed, and I feel very, very connected to that energy that you allow to flow through you in terms of you connecting to your channel and actually being one of the good things about it. You're not on social media or like that, so you got a pure kind of perspective of connection in the sense. And I'm not saying that it would dampen if you were on the internet or anything. I'm just saying I think that it's time for your energy to be spread across because just like I was explaining or feeling when we were speaking, um, I deal with a lot of energy, different beings who come across my path, and I'm grateful to say it's more positive than negative, but I take it, as above, so below. I know that it's all equal, and I'm projecting it out. I'm looking at the perspective of that, and I'm realizing that I can impact whoever comes into my experience in a positive way or in a negative way. It's how I choose to, perceive them and how I perceive myself perceiving them. And I realize that, we all have that same power, but we're not tapped into it. And I just want to bring things to the table from an elder perspective, you know what I'm saying? From the mother perspective, from the mother energy perspective. And, it's not enough of you all because it's a lot of you all just, chilling in the cut like you are. You like you say, you got a lot of energy and a lot of things to share, especially from the form of what you've been tapped to as far as forgiveness. And, we tapped in early with that because I wrote many things about forgiveness. I've had to go through a forgiveness course in my own life. I've had to create a forgiveness course for my life, not like even on the internet. I'm talking about how to really channel this forgiveness process because that was the thing that kicked on for me the ability to really share my unconditional, unlimited, and unapologetic love and not be, judgmental or feeling judged by it. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I appreciate you, and I'm going to make sure that the voice is heard, like I said, because it's felt this energy from source, and we know that. So how did you really get started at what you do? What made you, what kicked you in? What was the, what made you realize it was your calling?
Well, I've always been the kind of person that people wanted to talk to, that they wanted to, if something was on their mind, they wanted to talk to me. Even strangers, would come up and start conversations, and I didn't know who these people were, or anything, but they needed to be heard apparently, so I listened. And around the year 2000, I was going through a lot of changes within me, and I decided that I wanted to be able to hear the answers, because I was always asking questions, but I wasn't hearing answers. And so they sent someone into my life who taught me automatic writing. And I started that and I was just writing and writing and writing and writing. And I'm thinking, okay, who am I getting these messages from? And am I supposed to be talking to this one or am I supposed to be talking to that one? And I finally got to a point where I said, why can't I just hear you? Why do I have to write? And I started to hear them,
Hmm.
which led to me asking even more questions, because I'd be driving along in my car and I'd be talking to them, and people would be looking at me strange because I'm in the car by myself. So I started wearing one of those little earbud things so people would think I was on the phone.
That makes sense, especially in certain times.
Yeah, but it just led to this incredible opening because I started getting answers to the questions. And it really, at first, really ticked me off because they didn't answer the way I thought they should. You
Indeed.
know,
Indeed.
we as humans, we talk differently to each other than the divine talks to us.
Indeed.
And the answers that they give are not coming from the human perspective, they're coming from the divine perspective. Now I've gotten used to it, and now if I hear something that sounds more human, I'm wondering why on earth are they sounding like that, you know?
Indeed. Indeed. So it becomes familiar. It's like that's what really made you realize it was your calling, because every question you asked, pretty much in the sincerity of your heart, from your heart perspective, you were really sincere about wanting to know. So you got what you requested, in the sense
Yes.
of just basically being the creator and stating, yeah, okay, I why can't I hear you now? I want to hear you, basically. And you claimed perspective. You claimed that. Okay, so that's just confirmation as to, I get a lot of things too, and I like you were sharing with me in terms of teaching me as well to listen to, what I'm channeling, because I know now that I've been for since I've been a child, but we don't necessarily we don't take heed to that. We know that we have things going on, and we think some of these voices in our heads are something, but these voices are definitely in my life. They've been clear. Now I'm just grateful to have crossed paths with you to share and teach how to do that, and then share the truth of what we all are looking like. We have access. All of us are looking for the the love key, the key to feel loved, be loved, create love, and know how to. And even those who got hate and miss the other side of love, so it's the same thing. It's like they, because we all want the same thing. It's perspective, in my perspective, respectfully.
Yeah.
So, was there ever a point in space where someone else didn't think you were going in the right direction, even when you did? And what was the opposition? What was the biggest opposition that you had in terms of when you became a channel, or then like you know what I'm saying? Like the people, whoever, how was the biggest experience? How did it affect you to confirm that you were?
I think the biggest issue for me was that I didn't feel confident in myself when I was starting out, and like I was talking with my mother and telling her that this was something that I was doing. And my mother was highly religious. I mean, had always been. We'd always gone to church, and that had always been so important to her. And when I turned 19 and I left home to go to college, I decided I wasn't going to church anymore. And so when I started doing the channeling, unless there was a funeral or a wedding, I did not go to church,
Mm.
period. It wasn't a part of my life at all. And so then I start this channeling, and she's confused because she's like, okay, you don't have a relationship with God, and yet you're channeling messages from the divine. It didn't make any sense to her, and I'm trying to explain to her that this is not about religion. This is about my spiritual being. And so I channeled a message for her, but it wasn't from the divine. It was actually from someone who was her best friend.
Mm.
And the message was about this person wasn't going to be around much longer, and that sort of thing. Well, it turned out that the woman that I was channeling didn't die, but she had Alzheimer.
Mm.
So she wasn't there anymore in the way that she had been there.
Mm.
And they had been best friends for probably longer than I had been alive.
Mm.
So it was a big change.
Mm-hmm.
And when I realized that she wasn't dead, And I started asking my guidance. I said, okay, why was she coming through if she wasn't dead? And what does all this mean? And, over time, I understood it.
Mm, mm,
But being able to do it, to channel and to convey these messages to other people was sometimes the hardest thing for me.
mm, mm.
And I would always tell them, okay, I'm getting a message for you. Would you like to hear it? And 9 times out of 10, or probably more like 29 times out of 30, they would say yes.
Mhm.
But every now and then I would get someone who would say, no, I don't want to hear it. And I would say, fine. And
Mhm.
I wouldn't give it to them.
Right, right. No pressure. No
Yeah.
pressure. My mother did that same thing to me when she went into sleep coma before she made her transition. She went into sleep coma 4 days prior to her actually making the transition. And the night that the first of the 4 nights when she called us all down and said, I feel like this is it for me and I wanted to talk to you all. And she's got an opportunity to speak to all of us. And, I was thinking, like she said, it was going to be that. So I stayed up as long as I could for when I did fall asleep. When I woke back up, I came back down and she was still awake, but she was still conscious, but I couldn't wake her. I couldn't wake her. She was in sleeper coma. And I went at that time because it was like probably 4 or 5 o'clock in the AM. So I normally get up at that time anyway, and I go do meditation. I do my AM rituals and stuff. And while I'm in my meditation, she comes to me just like that. So I know she's downstairs in the same structure, breathing, and I know that. You know what I'm saying? She explained to me.
Mm-hmm.
She told me just like that. I told you it's no death. I'm not. So you hold it down. Expand for 4 days. She stayed conscious and just in dream state, going through it seemed like nightmares and stuff. But you explained to me what that was. Her cleaning up the karma so that she wouldn't have to, do this thing again. And I could really relate to that in a strong way because of the conversation she and I had prior to her, making a transition and all the transmissions that she was doing, speaking to her relatives and pulling me into the conversations and allowing me to literally be present. And I was present and I could feel them and hear them just like she could, and that's what got me realizing there's no Alzheimer's. No, that to me is just the person going ahead and basically leaving this quantum and going into another quantum, a conscious state where they are, like all of us. I feel we're all we can be in that other realm. You know what I'm saying? So it was kind of from divine still that the message came, because the message came from the other side of the realm, but at the same time, while that entity was connected directly one with source. So it's still kind of in a divine sense, because I just feel all of it's divine because of just the idea of being able to transmit or receive messages. I'm just grateful for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
What is one thing that you didn't expect about the process and of getting to where you are now? Like what did you what doubts have you had in a sense, and what have you done to, eliminate that?
Well, when I started this connecting more with the divine, and getting the answers, I wasn't really sure where it was going to go. I wanted to have more wisdom because I had been one of those people that read a lot. I've read over 5,000 books.
Mhm.
So I was always reading, I was always gaining information. And one of my favorite things to read was science fiction because it was all about the future and it was outside of, the normal life, and everything was possible. And that kind of thing really appealed to me. Well, when I started channeling and I started recognizing that, there were mediums, people who talked to dead people. And I thought, well, that must be interesting. But I didn't want to do that because I told them up front, I don't want a bunch of dead people hanging around me. Yeah.
I can imagine. I can only imagine.
And so I do talk to people who've passed,
Oh, I know.
but I only talk to people who passed if I'm with someone that they want to say something to. I
Mm,
don't have, in general, just random dead people coming up saying, "Hey, Barbara," you know.
right, right.
Um, and the hardest thing for me was to talk to my family members when they died,
Mm,
because an important part of me had always been that I was very private.
mhm,
I did not want to be seen. I did not want to be heard. You know, if I was working with you, that was fine. I could say anything and we could do anything.
mhm.
But other than that, you know, stay out of my life, stay out of my business, you know.
I totally can relate. I can relate to
Yeah. Well, even the idea, you know, that there were divine beings who could watch me while I went to the bathroom really just
that. It just made it
I'm
feel
like,
some kind of way,
yeah,
huh?
how do I shut this off so you can't see, you know?
Yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting.
And so they had to work with me to get me to come out of that. And now it's like, okay, fine. If
Yeah,
you want to
no,
be in my head, no big
we're
deal.
in the judgment state in this 3D avatar, and no matter what, we just it's just sometimes a challenge to think outside of judgment, even from because I was thinking the same thing. Oh, my mom gonna get to see all the shit I do now, like how I'm thinking and all that. And then she literally told me, "Dude, chill, man." I got some thoughts too. I've had some thoughts too. So, and it's literally like that. I've had this conversation with her since she's been, and I'm telling you, like I said, I don't really care who feels about how they see things, but I know my mom and I have a stronger relationship now that she's made a transition than we even did when she was physical, because we built our physical and spiritual relationship together, especially towards the end of her experience or towards the transition of her experience. You know what I'm saying? And I'm grateful that
Mm-hmm.
the whole time she attempted to instill certain things, it was always the love, loyalty, and respect that I got from her and to learn from her, so to be. And she gave that to me over like overwhelmingly. So as a result of me seeing, and she was pretty much the hardest person in my life ever in my life, but I'm so grateful because I had to have that. I'm warrior spirit. I didn't come here to play, and she didn't either. Like, like we had a discussion, it's very deep. And I'm just grateful. I'm very grateful that we have, tapped in, and it's a process that we've, embarked in. This is a mastermind that is infinite, because I know that as we build and strengthen the vibration of the universe. All we're doing is raising the vibration. Every verb, every word, every frequency, every thought. And even when they don't like it, it's raising it even higher, because somebody got to make a change.
Yeah.
Somebody got to do something. So what are three things that you're grateful about what you do and where you are now?
Well, I'm grateful that I do the channeling and that I can ask questions and get answers.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you're a little pausing right there. Let me see. Can you hear me? Let me see if I can put you in and put you back in. You may have to come back in.
Function
There.
into.
Okay,
Okay.
yes. You now I got you back.
Okay. Um,
Okay.
so I'm grateful to ask questions and get the divine answers that I get for myself as well as for. Um, what I love is that they teach me new things. This used to be really frustrating to me because I'm a healer, and so I would learn different methods of healing. It seemed like, okay, this is it. This is wonderful. I'm doing this work, and it's having this wonderful impact on people. And none of them would last for more than a year before something else would come up and they'd say, okay, do this. And so I've learned all of these different methods of healing, and I've learned that I'm usually with something for about a year and then I move on to something
Mhm.
else. And so I have all of these methods listed on my website, and some of them I haven't actually done in over 10 years, but I was guided to learn it and I did, and I still know how to do
Yeah.
it, but it's not what's important to me.
Right. Yeah. We grow. We grow. We grow.
Yeah.
Things change.
So I'm learning to live in the moment
Hmm.
instead of living in the
Right.
past. And that's a big transition for most people because we really do spend most of our lives in the
Indeed.
past, especially if you're thinking, because everything you're thinking about is usually something that's
Yeah,
already
it's
happened.
hard to think of something in the future if you haven't already had the experience, especially. But some people don't trust their imagination and their intuition. Some people haven't a clue that that's the key element, one of the key elements to getting, the will and the commandments of our intentions. And I'm grateful that we have a opportunity to share it with people to give them a chance to um, at least look at it differently, because it's just reminding. I feel like all we're doing is reminding people of what they are and who they are when we show up. It's just a matter of if they accept their position in that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So was that three things? Because this doesn't have to be three things, but
Oh, that was
okay.
two. The third one, the third one is, and in some ways has been the hardest one of all, self.
Mm.
And you know, being a light worker, you focus on how can I help everybody else? How can I change the world? How can I heal that? And it's finally said to me, you're going to focus on you. You're not going to focus on anybody else. Nobody else is important. The only one important is you.
Hmm.
And I fought that. I fought that and fought it and fought it and
Hmm.
fought it because I kept thinking, well, no, because I'm not here for me. That's self. I've got to do everything for them. And it took them a while to finally, in
Hmm.
order to help, I have to be the best that I can be.
Indeed.
So
Indeed.
it's not selfish on me because making me better helps more people.
Indeed. Indeed, indeed. Okay, so I see it's a little bit of delay. I was going to ask if you can come out and come back in to see if we can get it cleaned up, because what you're saying is very important and I want it to be clear. Now, most of that what you said was clear. It was a little choppy at the beginning, but it cleared up really quickly. But so that we can keep it smooth and I can edit out whatever if need be, but the more authentic it is and better. Well, it seems like the screen got more clear for whatever reason, and every time it got clear,
Yeah,
you were clear, and every time it got blurry, you're blurred. Now it's fine. You're on there just fine. Okay, but I did hear you, and I didn't want to cut you off in that. Okay, so how do you keep yourself grounded as you as you come across more energy fields that you actually have to, assist? And I know that it's all high vibrational who you contact, but people bring low vibrational energy to you to get to it a lot of times.
I know how to work without going into the.
Mm, okay.
That's one of the things about a lot of empaths. They connect with other people's energy and they go into that energy thinking that that's how they help them. And then they get
Mm.
stuck in all this heavy energy and then they don't want to go near anybody because it brings them down.
I
Well,
learned that the right way.
I've always from the very beginning said, I don't want anybody else's energy. You
Mm,
know, I studied Reiki and I became a Reiki master, and an important part of Reiki was that you didn't take in the energy of the person that you're working with.
Indeed,
And
indeed,
that has helped me so much because when I work with someone, I can sense their energy. I have an idea about it, but it does not become mine. I do not
indeed.
join them in their misery. I don't see any reason why I should. That's not going to make their lives better, and it's certainly not going to make my life better. And when I'm doing the work that I'm doing, it fills me with joy. And so I'm not giving up my joy for somebody else's crap.
Hey, listen, that's the truth, and that's a okay. So I was listening, and as we spoke, the reason I know I summoned you or you summoned me, however it happened, was because the things that you've gone through, like you said, I had gone through as well, but it was after you had already seen the fact of, and that's you confirmed it via the ancients that okay, look, that part you know that, so that's the part you don't have to be concerned about, but truly that other part in terms of taking responsibility, because it's the same thing when like I always say, it's not doing it because we do things with ease, it's making the decision to do it, because by the time you make the decision, it's a lot of things you've gone through that push you to have to do it but you've already created the ability to do it because you said you wanted it done. I mean, I just feel like we are creating everything, and it's just in vibrational escrow. That's low and high. So whenever you line up to it vibrationally, that's when it shows up, physically. But that's just something, and it's been consistent in my experience. That we have to be mindful how we project. All of these,
Hmm.
those thoughts are very, very, very um, important to not channel into someone else's energy. And I'm gonna give you an example of something that happened with me because I'm a Reiki master too. I studied for like several years in order to get to a point of clarity about the different versions and just different things. But I realized it's deeper than that. Since then, I mean, I still do that too, but it's not like the main thing, like you said. But I just to confirm what you said, it is fact that when you do Reiki healing, it is a must that you have an agreement that the energy is, agreement between you and the Tony or whoever you're working with, that this energy is universal. This is source energy, and we're just projecting, we're sending, we're accepting it to send it through, and that's it. It's not ours, it's not for us to use. Okay, so listen, and I know that when you're doing this, is for me, I have to state intentions, I have to get into a certain vibration, I have to balance my energy and get to a certain phase, and then channel in source energy first, because I'm gonna tell you what I did one time. My goddess, my empress, she was going through some changes, she was really going through it, and it's because my son had left, and it was a bunch of stuff that was stressing her out. And I did a session on her, but I didn't. It was so important for me to focus on this session with her. I didn't do my intentions correctly, and I didn't channel the power. And I used my energy. Okay, I used my energy, and she felt a lot better. And it was at night that we did this, and we laid down after we talked. She talked. She laid down. We laid down to go to sleep. Well, I woke up at like 3:40 something, having to use the bathroom really bad, having to urinate really bad. So I went to the bathroom, and I'm in the bathroom, and I'm using the bathroom, and I get really dizzy. Like I don't realize that I get dizzy, but as I'm walking away, I wake up like in the hallway area, right? Because the bathroom is in right around the corner in the room. But I wake up in the hallway, like, and my wife, she jumps up and she's like, she wakes me up because I'm like on the floor. I don't remember nothing. I fell out. And she wakes me up and she's like, what are you doing down there? I was like, what? Well, I don't know. She's like, you just fell. You okay? And I'm like, I had hit my head and everything. And I realized I hit my head way after the fact because it wasn't it. I was just, and I didn't realize what happened. As soon as I sat down and got my bearing and I did an intention, it was you used the wrong energy. You did not present the energy correctly. You pulled in that low vibration and you got her, healed. It really healed her. It really made her feel, but that energy came in on me. And I went to, because she was just determined, okay, well, I appreciate you, getting confirmation and everything, but I want you to go to the doctor, this, that, and the other. I'm like, I'm not interested in that. But to appease her, and then, I am a little older than her, so I'm like, okay, I'll do that for you. I went, and the doctor's like, no, there's nothing wrong with you. Everything's good. Like everything's good. And I'm like, well, I told him what happened. He said, and I told him, I explained to him, it was a Nigerian brother, elder. He was like, he had 4 sons. And when I told him what happened, he closed the door. He said, can I talk to you? Like man to man? And I was like, yes, sir. He was like, you had an experience that was more spiritual. You said you did a Reiki session on her. You didn't atone. You didn't do a proper atonement. You took the energy in, and it was truly the power that was, you had to shed it some kind of way. Just be grateful you didn't, knock yourself unconscious to the point, because the hitting of the head was you falling out. That's normal if you don't do certain things. The danger is where you fall out, where you might lose power at. And he said, I suggest continue to do your healing, but you have to do your proper intentions in preparing yourself for going into that source energy, like for even doing any of that, because it's source energy. It's not your energy. You're one with source. You're the power that precedes and gives, remembrance to. And then he told me something about, because I told him the reason that I even did it. He said, well, I'm going to tell you something about these boys and this son thing, especially. He said, I got 4 sons. I sent them, I did everything I could for them, and every last one of them are competing with me. I don't have a clue why, but it's because all I've done is share with them what I feel like is best for them. But every last one of them want to see them doing, and I want to see them doing better than me, but they're doing it in an animosity thing type way. He said, I'm just telling you because I'm experiencing that. And I don't know what your son left for, but Spirit told me to tell you that. And I'm like, wow, everywhere I go, it's spiritual. Everywhere I go, everywhere I show up is spiritual. Whoever I talk to, it ends up being spiritual. So I've taken on that quantum perspective. And because I do all this astral projecting, and I was quantum jumping early on in the early 2000s, and really tapping in, and I had some experiences that scared the hell out of me doing it. It made me realize that, we really can't play with these realms. It's like we really do have access to go and pull back things that you don't want to bring back. You go with the wrong energy, you have an experience, and that energy can come. It's your energy. You know what I'm saying? You're pulling it from someplace else, and if it's not high vibrational, it could be an experience. So that was just something I wanted to share, because it confirms the fact that that energy, you can't. That's not our energy. We're not supposed to. We do have the energy but we have to replenish that energy immediately. But it's not to use for Reiki. It's not to use the Reiki energy. Is to use your power to actually harness the power source to share. We agree that this is source's power. It's not my power. It's not your power. It's source power, and we agree, and that's what the healing comes from. And that's just the perspective that is. And I will ask you some to pull the forgiveness channeler in. I just wanted to I wanted to give the audience, or whoever gets the opportunity to see this, to feel your energy aside, what you actually do. Because once people, what I've seen, and then me just being, unapologetically me, when people see who you are, they can feel who you are, especially when you show, who you are. It is what it is. Okay. So which part of which part of what you do is most fulfilling to you?
Oh gosh. I want to say all of it. Everything I do makes me feel good.
Oh, that's wonderful.
If it doesn't make me feel good, then I don't do it. And that's been an important thing for me to recognize. Because when you are doing this work and you're working with other people who are doing this work, like I have this one woman that I did Reiki on, and then she wanted to return it because she had also trained in Reiki. And so I'm laying there, and she starts sending me Reiki, and my body said, do not take this, because she wasn't allowing the energy to flow through her. She was sending me her energy.
Right. And my goddess didn't know the difference. She was just,
Yeah.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
but it does feel different. And
Oh, it
I
does.
did not want her energy. Now,
Oh,
I imagine your energy is much purer and cleaner than the energy that I was getting from this particular person.
okay.
So she's doing the Reiki, and I'm making sure that none of the energy actually goes into me.
I've had an experience like that. I totally
Yeah.
yeah. hmm
So it's like you have to build a little force field around yourself to keep the energy away.
Indeed, I do that. That's the part of that initial. Um, I guess it's a ritual for me. The initial ritual before starting the session. Like what I'm saying. That's a part of it, protecting your aura and your energy because we being empaths, we just want to get it done. We just want the idea of the fact that we know we can assist healing if you agree. I've had a situation where the person was not open and I had to stop because they weren't receiving and I can feel it coming back like like a magnet that does not fit and
Hmm.
most of every time it's like a smooth energy. Anytime that comes up, if I get that in the interview, I don't do it anymore. If I get it in an interview while I'm interviewing someone to just feel, because all of these same thing modalities, I use hypnotherapy, I use NLP, I use the ability to put them, tie them together, and kind of like while I'm speaking to somebody, I'm kind of using some of those techniques to see where people are to trigger to see, to kind of feel my way ahead of time. It's going to give me a good example or a good idea if I can even assist, if we can agree to pull the power that's necessary to heal whatever it is, because that's the biggest thing to me, the matching energy. Like I just don't take everybody. I've had people contact me and I just, even in the conversation, they want a session, they want to talk or whatever the situation. It's just when I get a certain feeling, I'm not tapped into it. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of like what it is. I can't move past that barrier. I think I got you froze here. Let me see if I can unfreeze you. Maybe you could restart your computer and come back in, because this time I think you're froze. Let me see. Yeah, we're still live. Oh, yeah, you popped back. You were froze there for about 30 seconds. I see you. I see your eyes blinking now. But maybe you should just come. Maybe you should just come off, like sign off and sign back in to see if you can get a whole new signal. That'll work. Peace and love. Will that this information is helpful and provides positive and prosperous energy for you. You get something from it. Yeah, your screen looks way better. Yep, your screen
Yeah.
looks way better.
It got really bad, and now it's back.
Okay.
Okay.
So you did say something about, when you were younger, that you were channeling. You start kind of early because when you left home and got away from the vices of the religion, it kind of gave you more opt to think like you were thinking as a child, but you were free to be able to move around. So did you see yourself? Okay, so when you were younger, could you see yourself where you are now in terms of the channeling? Because it started so young, did you know innately that was what you were going to be doing from now on? Or like I know you said a couple of times you were, in between. So what was your overall with that?
Well, when I was little, um, elementary school little, I used to go out and I would sing with angels. I
Mm,
remember doing that. And I didn't tell anybody that that's what I was doing, but I would go and I would do that. And then I stopped doing that. I don't really know why. I don't know if it was a message I got in church or, my father was in the military, so we went to army chapels. And so there were a variety of different chaplains from
mm,
a variety of different religions.
mm,
But I stepped away from that. And then when I went away to college, I went through a short phase of recognizing that there were males and men were different than women, and you have to investigate and learn all of this stuff. I only did it with one man, and I ended up marrying him at a very young age, which I do not encourage anyone to do. Wait till you're older. You know so much more. But I also began reading up on different religions, and I went through years of reading up on all these different religions, and I went into metaphysics, and I started looking into that to see if that would provide me with what I was looking for. Now, it was 20 years, no, it was more than 20 years. No, it was 20 years later when I started channeling. So I was still looking for those answers that I'd been looking for in my early 20s, and through that time and through that marriage and that divorce and everything that had happened in my life. I always wanted to have answers. I told people I was a seeker because I was looking for answers. I don't tell anyone that I'm a seeker anymore because now I found my answers. And so now I share the information that I get. So it's part of the transition that I've gone through in this lifetime, that I've gone from being a seeker to someone who actually speaks with wisdom.
Experience.
And now I can't even remember what question I was answering.
All is well. All is well. It was just a option question. It was just a secondary question because of the age. You had already answered the question earlier. I just kind of rephrased it because, when you were younger, could you see yourself as being who you are now, like full-fledged channel? Because when if you were singing with the angels, I think that all of us has something going on. Like the imaginary friends I spoke to you about, all of us have something going on, but especially when you're chosen, but something happens within that process to give us the opportunity to get more experience and, to be able to have the wisdom to share these things. And when you get to the point where you get messages from, higher source, we all do via our intuition, but it is different when it's, you're supposed to share. Some you're supposed to get it and utilize it for what your action is, and some you're supposed to share because it's for you to share. It's not necessarily your information, but you're the vessel for it, and you have to show up as the vessel because you got to show up like someone that they're looking for or they're familiar with or they weren't expecting, but they know they were expecting at the same time, because it's a familiar energy in every field of positive energy that you're supposed to meet. I don't care what shade, I don't care who they are, female, male, or whatever. It doesn't matter about the ethnicity in terms of that. It's a certain energy field that you feel when a person is connected as you are. Like you know what I'm saying? And you kind of confirmed it with me, and I'm getting chills, like, because that's just that, that's the message is coming through. And I'm so grateful. Like I said, this is a start to an infinite process to, pass along to, the team we're working with, and then we get the opportunity to continue to build. And I appreciate you being, willing to share, your experiences, and knowing that I know that you're not the type to want to be out there like that, but knowing your position now, and like you said, hey, they told you got work to do. So I know I got work to do, but we have to know who that work is with and how to maneuver it forward, where to actually present it, because it is what it is. We're here, and we're here to be what it is we're here to be, and we'll continuously grow, because the idea, the whole thing is to basically share love, show love, be that love, be the example of, and know that it hurts, it heals, it gives life, it unalives, it does everything that it does everything that has anything to do with what creation is all about. You know what I'm saying? And the perspective of knowing that once we get to the perspective of no judgment, no, not tripping about nothing, like just going inside and realizing that we're the controlling factor of all these feelings and emotions. And if we're listening to the first part of our heart, it's the love part. We're not really going to miss a beat if we do that. I don't, especially now that I'm locked in and I pay attention to it. I pay close attention to the details of my energy, my heart, my frequency, and my vibration. Now, I don't give no outside, low vibration. Okay, if I got it, it's mine. It's not because I got it from somebody. It's because of mine. It's because of me. It's because of what I do. It's not. I can't receive it from anyone else because it's not anyone else's responsibility for me to be like accepting or concerned about. Oh, you pissed me off. You did not. That's small. That's small time. Like you really
Yeah.
got to go inside yourself and realize that mirror is the only thing that's affecting any of us. You know what I'm saying? Who you are. And I already asked you the question about. See, you kind of answered a couple of these questions just in the dialogue of the expression because it is what it is. It goes that way. But what's one tip or insight or of insight that you would give to anyone else who wants to do what you do? And that's a question coming from me personally because you've pretty much confirmed that that's what I'm hearing is what it is. Like I'm supposed to be doing this. But what is the one tip and insight for someone else? Because I'm full fledged now. I'm going to continue to listen, learn, and tap in because I know that I got loved ones who love me. They really love me, and they show me that love. They show me so much love, just like you said, and I feel it. I feel it so much, and I'm just grateful to be a part of knowing that I am some kind of influence to this planet. Like no matter who like me or don't, because I don't give a dang on about who don't like me. I love them more, and that makes it more dangerous for them. You know what I'm saying? Because hey, stay in your lane. Because I don't play no games. I transmute, I illuminate, and I'm the active bolt of fire with love. I'm the fire love part. So that's how it works. You get burnt by that too. And I don't intend to burn nobody. I don't intend to harm nobody, none of that. But you know what it is. I'm learning my perspective of knowing how to be in that state too. Because that forgiveness that I wrote, that was channeled. That was definitely channeled. You know what I'm saying? Because I listen to that every day. I have to listen to it every day because I go inside myself. And sometimes when I'm coming from these astro places, even though I'm in a positive state, I see things that are not so positive. I have to go through somewhere to get to some places sometimes. And in order to get there, you don't get the experience. You don't get to experience just, hey, go to the happy place. Not when you've asked for all of the things to give you the experience to understand how you get there and how you get back from there. You have to go through it. And I realize that's what we're doing. The chosen ones, we're going through it. And it's time for us to express all of those things. So from that perspective, that was just the part of the cast that I wanted to ask questions to you. And I would love for you to give us some messages because I know, based upon what I know about you now, it's a whole time channel thing, and you probably already got some stuff that you would like to say to the collective. But we spoke about the forgiveness thing, and what I'm, kind of honed in on is gratitude and forgiveness, and love is the prerequisite of that. Prerequisite, however you say that word, is that. You know what I'm saying? So we know that we give gratitude, we forgive. And it's gonna equal some love, and it's gonna be love coming from different perspectives. It might not be from who you forgave. It might not be from but it's coming. It's already in the ether when you do it. So I'm just building up vibrational escrow, showing as much love as I can, being as grateful as I can, and I got reason to be grateful. I got reason to be grateful. I got so many reasons to be grateful. You know what I'm saying? So I count mine. I count my fortunate haps, not mishaps, my fortunate haps. I count them. I'm not blessed in the sense of be lessed. I have never been be lessed of anything. I haven't been, but blessed in the term, if you want to use it for the energy that most people know it, I'm beyond that. You know what I'm saying? I'm beyond it. I feel like that word, it has to be broken in terms of the level of what Source has done for me and given me. And my family, my loved ones, you coming into my experience, like my animals, my everything. Like I'm just happy about everything. I don't have and I got stuff I'm dealing with. Everybody got stuff they're dealing with. I got an elder father. I love that dude to death. He's 82. He's healthy. His mind is extremely healthy. He doesn't want to do too much things physically. And he used to be a football player and a contractor. So I can understand his body being, tired and everything. But I'm just like, if I could do something to influence him to move, because I feel like he always said he wanted to be 100 years. And then some years back, he said he was tired of life. And then I reminded him of that 100 years, and that was 7-8 years ago. Like, you know what I'm saying? And his mind is extremely strong. Like I said, that's the biggest thing for me. I'm grateful to see that my father, the man I come from, the soil that I come from, the loin that I come from, has a good memory. His mind is really good. And that's big for me. Like, because my mom, her mind was always good too, until she got to the point where she had to make the time for her transition. And because that, like I say, Alzheimer and dementia, I don't believe it. I just, from my own experience, and I respect people who've gone through it and they were like, hey man, you crazy as hell. I was there, and I got videos. I can show you videos of people who I see going through that type of stuff. And some of them, you're not going to be able to tell them that that's what's going on, because they don't seem to be in a spiritual mindset. It's like they're stressed out for the fact that their loved one is not there, and they're, but I looked at it like, the closer I get to the other realm in high vibration, I can communicate with her. And she proved it before she even like took her final breath to leave the vessel. She proved that she would be able to communicate. She's always been telepathic with me since I've been a child. She's been able to communicate with me. So we passing it along. My children, that's why one of them came to the door, he came to the door, and I telepathically told him. He was like, "Oh." Nobody told him. I heard him say, "Oh." I told him, "Son, I'm in alive." He said, "Oh, my bad, Daddy. See you in a minute." I mean, they do. The younger they are, the more the older ones, they do too, but they be on some crap sometimes, because they be doing all kind of, not crap, but they don't be listening. They'll say, "Yeah, I thought I was, I was thinking about, yeah, you was thinking about me because I was summoning you. I was, and I do it regularly because I want to increase that power. My mom did it with me all my life, so I know that as long as I'm present, I can do it. As long as I'm doing my best to keep us high vibrational, we don't lose contact with each other, so." That's my perspective of that. But I wanted to ask you, okay, from the perspective of your higher vibrational side of the way you communicate, our point of being here is to be the best we can in terms of love and being grateful and experiencing this thing from a spiritual perspective, understanding that we're spiritual beings having a physical experience that is very temporary to the infinite that we'll experience when we make a transition, and we're jumping through dimensions as we go. We could be alive and well in another consciousness. Well, we are, to me, alive and well in many other consciousness, but when we go to sleep, it's like we walk into a whole nother, like I woke up right now, we're in this dimension. Like I go to sleep, I'm doing something else in a whole different dimension, because I've had experience where I've seen things from that experience. So from an outer perspective, from top to bottom, and I've seen everything. And then me doing the quantum jump, and I've seen things in parallel in dimensions, me getting a chance to go in this quantum or this quantum or this quantum. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's even if it's how I was taught or whatever. And it kind of came up in the teachings of that's how it came up. But when I started doing Akashic Records meditations and stuff, it came more clear to me that these were like, okay, what I thought was portals, or maybe just avenues to the information, so I'm still putting it all together. But all in all, the importance of us being here, in your opinion, is what, from the perspective of what's the main thing that source would want for us to know, if we had only one person to tell us, say we popped out the sky grown with a whole new opportunity to understand everything, what would you say? What would one say to someone who has a clean slate, and how to basically navigate in the situation, knowing that this is you already knowing what a person that comes here would have to face? What would be the thing that source would say to a being that is, fresh, like just a person who is a new frame of mind, even, like, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm kind of coming from that perspective, but I'm using it like a technique that I've heard. Imagine yourself just being clear, and of all states, you don't have no memory, you don't have no future thought or nothing. You just now are clean. what would you say to an individual like that to actually experience this 3D perspective in a, you know, in a balanced way?
We would make sure that they understood that they are always, always, always connected to Source, and that anything that they do is okay. There is no right, there is no wrong. You are here to experience whatever it is you have chosen to experience. And your experiencing this allows everyone who is connected with Source, which is everyone, to experience the same thing. Everyone's experiencing in their own way. They are learning, they are seeing, they are questioning. This is all about life. And in some ways, it's a lot like when you are young and you are learning to play a game. Let's say you are learning to play like Monopoly, and you are going around the board and you are collecting money and you are buying houses and you are experiencing all of this and you are laughing and you are having fun with your family. Life is no different than that. So if you just want to see it as this wonderful game that you have chosen to be a part of, and you are learning and you are having fun and you are looking forward to it. So often people get in the mindset that there's something wrong. There's something wrong with them. There's something wrong with the world. There's something wrong with life. There's something wrong with all men, all women. You have all of these different interesting perceptions about
Indeed.
life and what is actually happening. You are not here to do anything in particular. You are here to experience what you have chosen to experience. And if you want to experience things on the highest level possible, then we suggest that you do forgiveness work. Because the forgiveness work actually clears the energy. And we are not talking the kind of forgiveness where you are going around saying, I'm sorry all the time, because there are some of you who just seem to be stuck in the rut of saying, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. And you're not actually sorry. When you forgive, you also forget. And for a lot of people, they fight very hard to remember. They think it's important to remember. Well, if you're remembering, then you're not forgiving. Because if you're remembering, you are not. You are not letting go. And if you don't let go, you haven't forgiven. And when you go through and you start forgiving everything and everyone and every word, and it brings a clarity to your own life. And it brings an energy into you that allows you to be more alive, to feel more alive, to live a life without pain and discomfort because you've cleared the energy. You were taught, in most religions, you were taught about if you don't do this right, then God is going to punish you. And so that punishment mentality is something that you live in, that you grow in. And it's something that you do to yourself. And so there may be aspects of your life where you think, oh, well, I never did that wrong. And so I am being punished until I figure out how to get it right. Well, if you forgive, truly forgive, then there's no more punishment. There's no need for punishment. There's no need for anything negative in your life because you are accepting the goodness within you. You are accepting Source is within you. You are accepting that you are loved, you are powerful, and that you deserve. You are enough. That's what I would tell them to remember. you are enough.
That's an important thing to know too, because most of the people that I even come in contact with, it's something about them feeling, that they're less than, you know,
Mm-hmm.
that they're less than, and that they have to have approval from someone, and society kind of says that, kind of gives you that inclination, even if you didn't have a family to support you, or to, if you had to just jump out here like that, if no one told them like what you told them, if I had to go with the general consensus, it would be people following along with what they see everyone else generally doing. And I'm grateful that you were able to give us a better, a balanced look at something, because the energy in general on the planet seems to be, low vibrational, in the terms of keeping us out of the frequency of our high vibration. Just something to keep you knocked off so they can continue to control it or continue to manipulate it, because we have control over it. We're just allowing them to manipulate it in our situations when we do. But once we wake up, no one else has any control over it. So, from the perspective of knowing that forgiveness is one of the keys, how important is it to be, grateful for, just in general, for this perspective of being in this? Would that have an implication, or any kind of effect on the experience, being grateful or not?
Well, one of the things that we have noticed is that people who are saying that they are grateful are oftentimes not actually grateful.
Mm.
You are taught, to be polite and to say thank you and to hold doors and to do all of the things that show that you are a good person. We want people to get out of that belief that they have to show the world that they are good people, because that is people pleasing, and people pleasing is not being who you truly are. It's being who you think they believe you are. So it's not being true to yourself. When you are in gratitude and you are truly grateful, you are not just saying it because everyone says you should say it. Everyone says you should have a gratitude journal. Everyone says you should write down several things every day that you're grateful for. But you don't really feel it. And again, this is where that forgiveness work comes in. Because if you forgive gratitude, forgive thank you, forgive being grateful, forgive all of that energy, then you can come back to the truth of that energy. And you can let go of the need to do it for someone else. Because the focus of your life is you. There's no one more important in your life than you are. And there never will be, and there shouldn't be. Yes, you love lots of other people, and that's wonderful, but you need to love you.
First.
Yes, and that is how you truly change your life, by opening up to loving yourself.
Indeed. Can you feel, okay, just like you said, most people say that they're grateful, but you know that they're not. How do you know when someone is? What sign do you get to know that someone is truly grateful?
If you are one of those people that feels the energies of others, then you can feel that energy. Some people don't feel, they see. If you look into their eyes, you can see whether or not what they are speaking is the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Some people hear. And if you really hear, you can feel the tones that they are speaking and know whether or not they are speaking the truth. Different people have different ways of connecting. And as you go through life, you can explore the expansion of those ways. And this is something that, Barbara Grace has done. She started out with automatic writing, and then she started to channel. And then she decided that she wanted her third eye open so that she could see. And so she asked for that. And so we gave her that. If you ask, we will give you what you're asking for. She's also become more of a feeling person. And this is something that she had avoided for several lifetimes because of things that happened in the past. And now she's opening up to feeling. So she's becoming in touch with all of her own senses, which is also a part of loving yourself, because you really truly do want yourself to be the very best that you can be. And you want to open up to receiving everything that's there for you. And most people do not receive. They give and they give and they give and they give. And they think, well, why doesn't anyone ever give to me? And when someone gives to them, they say, no, thank you. Or they say, no, give it to someone else, someone more deserving. See, they push it away. And that's why they don't receive.
Indeed.
And when you are truly loving yourself, you are open to receiving
That's
as
wealth.
well as giving.
Indeed, that is wealth. That's spiritual wealth. Because I was taught in the wealth community, attempting to gain, wealth and money and stuff like that. You have to, first of all, you have to know that you are, worthy. You have to, like everything in life, you have to know that, something, you have to have that inclination that you can or you can't. You know what I'm saying? And when you know that you can, no matter what happens, it's going to take place if you stay in the lineup of it. It's like we do create our circumstances, just via being grateful. And I do feel exactly what you're saying. The reason I asked that because same thing. As an empath, I've found myself. I know who's grateful and who's not. Like I just easy now, and that's why it's a normal thing to feel the energy around people. And I feel like all the chosen, that's one of the things that we have to come to terms with, because we put those feelings off on something else when it's really identifying, confirming notations to give us the clarity to pay attention to the detail of whatever we're feeling that for. You know what I'm saying? Because we're literally being given this information to share and to be aware of the things that are to come or that are possible. You know what I'm saying? That's what I realized from my perspective. And so, as we get ready, prepared to wrap it up, I wanted to ask you one really important question to assist those who don't realize what's going on in their experience, but they're channeling. How would you say to tap into or to realize, or what is a notated fact that you could say, or something they should be listening or looking for that would let them know that you could be channeling, like you could be, because everybody has something going on. It's everybody. My children show me stuff all the time that, and I'm have to tell them, you listen to that. Listen, tell me, because if you got some information, I need the information. You know what I'm saying? Because I know that we can expound on it. But yeah, what is one thing that you would tell those who know that they have some kind of special thing going on to really tap into it?
We often tell people to pick something that they would notice. Like if you want to make sure that you are connecting, that you are in the energy of source, then you could pick something that you would see or that you would hear, like butterflies or feathers or pennies or dollars. We don't restrict you to finding something very small. It can be something huge. And notice that you see it because you've asked to be shown that you are connected. And so you will get these reminders, whatever it is you've chosen, and you will see it over and over and over. Some people pick a particular number. And when they see that number, it's a reminder that they are connected with the energy of Source, that they are receiving the messages. We also encourage people to write messages down. And some people write them down and never look at them again. Barbara Grace has written so many things down and she's never, ever gone back and read them. And that's absolutely fine. She wasn't getting them so that she could go back and read them, although she can. And she would gain new insight from them, insight that she didn't get the first time that she read them. But we tend to give you the information that is going to be beneficial to your life over and over and over until you get it. Because we realize that sometimes you just aren't hearing.
Yeah.
So you are repeating what we say, but you are not hearing it.
Right. Yeah, that's like that movie Bruce Almighty where he was asking for a sign. Just give me a sign. Just give me a sign. And he was driving in the rain. There was some trucks in front saying, "Stop! Don't come this way." He's like, "Look, give me a sign." He went that way anyway, and he ended up in an accident. But he was asking for a sign, but he was not paying attention to it at all. And that was the whole point. And Bruce Almighty, he was working in the context of being the Almighty. See what I'm saying? So it was really funny that's just true in the sense of how the universe works. And then another thing that I learned of a Neville Goddard technique a while back about, whatever you think about, it's going to show up. Go to sleep. Before you go to sleep, think about a ladder. Think about, I'm not going to see someone on the ladder. I'm not going to see a ladder. I'm not going to see no ladders. I'm not looking for no ladders or none of that. Wake up the next day, something about a ladder. So very soon in your experience, a ladder is going to show up. Somebody going to call you about a ladder. You're going to see somebody on a ladder. You're going to see it on something about a ladder because you put it in your perspective of what you didn't want to see. And it's everything you project upon that you see. It's so once we get the ability to focus on what it is we so command, will, and intend, and learn to allow that to be what it is into our experience, then we shall receive it here in this physical vibrational realm. And that's everything. That's because I got receipts. My children are my receipts. My Empress is my receipt because she's exactly to the T of what I dreamed about. And I'm not even saying that for nothing, but the fact she's literally what I dreamed about, and it wasn't a one dream. You know what I'm saying? It was a dream throughout my experience. And when she showed up, it's like I felt familiar, but I didn't recognize her until she took her glasses off and took her hair down. And that's when it's like, wait a minute, this situation. And I had already been through situations and canceled my whole relationship life out. I said, I'm never going to do this, that, and the other. And that's what was necessary for her to show up. Me to get tired of all the stuff that I had been through and done and gone through. That's what was necessary because she was pure and ready to be who she's supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? I'm so grateful that was the agreement because as a result, we have a very strong, loving foundation. And, and that's why I know that whatever else I'm supposed to do, I have access and I will be able to do it, So, yeah. So that thing, just noticing, paying attention to different things as signs because nothing is by accident. Everything is a confirmation. When you think about somebody, there's another thing. That's a simple one. Everybody says this. Just think about somebody you haven't talked to in a long time. Either they're going to call you, somebody going to tell you something about them, or something is going to happen where they show up in your experience. It's real. The energy is real. And if you're powerful with it, be mindful, disclaimer, be mindful what you're putting up, because you're going to have to be responsible. Like I did affirmations. I created a bunch of affirmations, really powerful, strong affirmations. But I got a disclaimer at the beginning of my affirmations that says, okay, so this is about a raising of a vibration. So you have to really be aware that if you are not aligned to the things that you're requesting in these affirmations, you're going to get what you affirm. But you have to realize that it might go down before it comes up. It may look like that because you have to line up. You have to be in alignment with what you're affirming. So if you have to go through some hardship to get to this other part, it might look like the affirmation is opposite. It's working against you. But if you stay consistent, it's going to show you that you had to grow through something and receive something in order to get what you affirmed. And that's a lot of times it could be something you affirm and it comes right away because you are already in alignment with it. But it could be something that's, in your heart of hearts, this is what you so intend, and you will, but you're far from it. So you affirm it, and then all hell breaks loose. You know what I'm saying? And then you wonder why, but that's what I got confirmed. It confirmed to me that you stay consistent with your affirmations. You're the creator. You're going to get the commandment of your affirmation. It's when you realize this is the other part of the disclaimer. That's how you know when things start going crazy and you start affirming. Then buckle up, put your bootstraps on and get ready for the ride, because it's on and cracking now. So I appreciate you. If there's anything else that you would like to say, I will be grateful to give you the floor. I want to say to everyone, thank you for showing up. Thank you for being here and giving us the love space and showing us we share love, gratitude, and peace to all those who come within the sound, the sight, the frequency of this vibrational expression. And if you like to say something, Barbara Grace, you're very welcome to. And again, I'm greatly appreciative for you being here. Like you probably froze right there on the end there. Let me see. Oh, you're back. I see you. Okay. I can tell because your fan stops in the back. When you go froze, your fan stops. So.
Oh. Okay. Well, so the messages that I've been channeling have been coming from Source or God or whatever name you want to give, because that's what you asked for. So, you get what you asked for.
Indeed.
And the thing that they want to convey to everyone is that there is no one who is insignificant. Everyone is equal. Everyone is valuable. Everyone has the ability to do miracles. And everyone is loved. And you are loved by millions and millions and millions of beings. You don't even realize how loved you are, because it is a world created in love. So let love in. You want to change your life, let love in. And we're not talking about going out and finding your soulmate or anything like that. We're talking about you loving you. That is the most powerful love that you can have. Even more powerful than that soulmate love that you write books about and make movies about and people are tripping over each other about. Love yourself first, and everything in your life will change.
Indeed. Love, love, love. Love unconditional. Love unlimited. Love unapologetically. We love you. Thank you for your space. Thank you for taking the space and being with us. Until next time, peace, love, and prosperity.